Okay, so we're gonna be taking off the two bolts here, but what I like to do is, before moving anything, I like to see if these actually move, because remember, the nut can move, but the bolt might be seized up. So what I like to do here is just give it a turn. Be careful with the groove arm down here. So let's see if this, okay, it moves. Let's try this side. Okay, so everything moves. So the problem here is this control arm has the two bolts going across. They're not gonna come out because they're gonna hit the strut. So that's why we took off the bottom bolt. We're gonna use this 15mm here, and we're gonna take off the 3. Okay, this might not be the correct size here. Okay, so this is a 14. I'm gonna go pick up a 15. I thought I picked up I know I went there to get 15. Okay, so I got my 15 here. Okay, here it comes. So I'm gonna take the back one off first. So once it's loose, since it's new, the shit just come out pretty easy. There you go, that's one of the nut. And then I'm gonna use this open-ended gear wrench. I'm gonna close gear ratchet, close-ended gear ratchet. This baby's gonna come off as well. So far, looking good. Let's get this guy off. There you go. So let's look back down here. So what we want to do down here is the whole strut has to come out. So what you're simply gonna take your pry bar, put it down here, and this baby look like it's jammed. There you go. The whole thing's gonna come up down in your hand. Make sure you keep it in an angle where you took it off, because remember, these guys fit only one way according to the bottom. So I'm gonna just keep it sitting just like that. Okay, so now we can just continue with our control arm on it. Okay, so you need to take out the shock. That's how you're gonna do it. So we're gonna use, so you're gonna need a 22 and a 22, but I will use this adjustable wrench just to hold it. And we're gonna take the baby off. Once it's to the point where you can turn it by hand, just do it by hand. There you go. Should come out. Do the same thing for the opposite side. If you want to put an adjustable wrench in here or in here, it's up to you. So I'll just get it back here. Pretty loose. So remember, this control arm was sitting in that angle. It's about 90 degrees. So make sure when you lock up the control arm, it's at the same position, okay? You don't want the control arm, because it's loaded. It's going to be loaded in that position. So every time it bounces, it's a force downward and force upward, and it will return to its original position. There you go. That baby's out. And make sure you put in the correct control arm. This one says right. Match it up with your old tool, with your old part. And you might have to hit it a bit up or down. That one looked like it's perfectly sitting perfect for me there. There you go. one side didn't give me a hard time at all. What is going on here? What is going on here? So is this aligned? So it needs to go more out, I think. Yep. Okay, now it needs to go up. There you go. Let's put in the nut. Couple of threads. And we need to work on the opposite side now. Same thing. Little for bangings are not gonna make it a big difference, okay? You're not gonna damage anything, trust me, believe me. Okay, it needs to go inward a bit. There you go. And this one should be easier than the opposite side. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to lock these babies down really tight. So make sure you do the same. Okay, so it's clockwise now. So let me just try to get this as much as I can by hand. There you go. It's not going to go any further. Okay, so what I want to do here is I want to snug it, and then I will show you the position that I'm going to lock it up at. Okay, so I want to lock up the control arm like right there. Okay, that looks good to me. Okay. Where my dogs at? There you go. I'm gonna get that a little bit more. So let me get the other side. Okay, the other side is just turning. It's like a wheel of fortune. Might take a break, you know. I did this whole thing. It's been only about like an hour, less than an hour. I did the whole job so far. Okay, there you go. There you go. This baby is nice. And so I'm gonna tighten this up, and I'm gonna take a break, and I'm gonna come back, and my camera is low, so I'll have a coffee and I will come back. By then I should have these tight. You're gonna see that, but this gotta go. All this, and that stays there. Anyways, all right guys, so got the control arm nice and tight. My camera's at 70%. It almost died earlier. So remember, your strut here, I told you to keep it in that spot. You had to, otherwise you're gonna mess up the order of the bolts. Once it's there, put on the nut. Once you grab one nut at least, it's gonna be nice and safe to let go in the bottom. And let me get the one in the back end. So let's look at the bottom. Okay, we got the top in. The bottom, you're gonna have to probably hammer it a bit. Rubber mallet will do. Once you see the holes lined, don't put your finger in there. You want to take that big bolt, same direction. Remember, we have to force it a bit down. We have to do the same thing. Give it some force. Okay, I think it went too far. Let's come back a bit. There you go. Once you catch it, just hammer it a bit, and the bolt itself will guide the rest of the shock in place. Anyways, almost 200 some foot-pounds. I'm gonna snug this guy. I'm gonna tighten the crap out of it with the gun, and then I gotta check it with my torque wrench, which you guys not gonna see in the videos, but that's later on. Let's go up here. Okay, these I like to tighten by hand. Okay, there you go. 1 and 2. There you go. Okay, I need to capture the one in the back. Don't leave nothing loose. You can probably get this one from the top. Open the hood up, and you will see the whole magic from up there. Okay, all right. There you go. This baby is nice and tight. Double check your work. So you are gonna have to remove the strut to get this bolt off from the control arms. There you go. Okay, boys and girls, time to put the spindle on. Let's bring this baby down. Okay, we do need to catch the four-wheel drive mechanism there onto this axle here. If you want to put a bit of a grease here, that's fine. And but it has some grease on it. This thing is heavy, so let me just put it down here gently and come across. So we're gonna push the axle in, and at the same time, once we put this guy in, we're gonna capture the nut here. So try it on first. So what we're gonna do, you know what? Let's leave this baby out of the way. It's not gonna bother us. We could get that in later. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna simply just do this. Once it's there, it's not gonna be easy. But once you capture the screw, no worries. Okay, this guy, we're gonna put this guy in. Okay, so make sure you capture the four-wheel drive. So you see it's turning, the axle's not turning with it, it's not in there. It hasn't been caught in there. So what you want to do is, once you capture it, it should not move. Okay, you see that? That means the axle has grabbed onto it. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna tighten this bolt, and it's gonna push the whole thing up. Okay, so we do need to get our 24 onto this guy here. 22, I believe. Okay, what is this? 22. Yep, 22. And switch up the sockets. Make sure you got your impact gun going the correct way. Okay, there you go. Nice and tight. Don't forget the cotter pin. Okay, so make sure the whole lines. Okay, so I'm not there. I need to tighten a bit more before the whole lines there. Okay, it's still not in. I don't like it. I could do it at the end. So what I want to do here next is I want to get a longer pry bar for got this long pry bar. Let me see if my camera is capturing this. So you see this here? Here's a new crappy bolt. This customer bought this control arm. I have no idea from where, which I don't even like. So just use the force from the spring and bring this guy down, and it's gonna be tough. This thing is gonna give me a hard time here. So this is 24, same thing. Now it's a different size. So same thing I'm gonna do here. Whoa. That's what I meant by have your impact gun going the correct way. I didn't have it going the wrong way. Something must have hit that. I think I was going the correct way. What happened there? Nice and tight. That baby's done. So what we're gonna do here is we're almost at a point where we need to, it's gonna get stiff because these new parts are stiffer, okay? Anyways, cotter pin is not in. The cotter pin needs to find its hole. So I'm gonna get the cotter pin in, and the camera's not gonna see that part, so make sure you get the cotter pin in and fold it. Okay, so we're not done here. So make sure your four-wheel drive mechanism is caught. Take this 13. If you don't have a torque wrench, you're gonna do it by hand. So this thing is not crazy tight, long as you got your four-wheel drive in place. You should hear that clicking sound, and the axle should move with it. And make sure that's in the spot. If it's not, it's gonna be probably tightened up at the wrong spot. Nice and tight. Hold it, okay? Don't try to let the axle do its magic. Tighten the crap out of it. It's not going anywhere. Take your cup here and take a small little hammer. Something that's gonna force that baby in. It's been magic so far. We're blessed so far. So, 3 things we need to do now. We need to clean this area here. Okay, they did put a greasing on it, so the customer wanted greasing, so I'll put my own greasing on this disc here, and it's time for us to finish up the brake job here. Okay, so the customer requested that they believe that the mechanic didn't grease, so he did put some grease there. So I told him I'm not going to charge you for something like this because everything is coming apart anyway, but you guys get the idea how to do the brake pads and rotors on this guy. Simply, so reverse procedure is going back from what we did. So we took off the 18 and the 14 of the caliper. We're going to use a compressor to compress the pistons. You can watch, I have tons of videos on that. So got grease in my hand, so I want to avoid that on the disc here. So here's our disc. So notice these grooves here are splines like that way, okay, like it's like a shredded blade. That's one way. If you put it the other way around, it's gonna be more hard on the brake, okay? So that's that. Anyway, guys, we're gonna move on to the side. We're gonna put the bracket on next. Okay, simply take your bracket here, and we got the brake pads on already, and you're gonna put the 18 millimeters on, and we're gonna go get the 18 millimeter socket, and if you're gonna bang it with the impact gun, real easy and simple. Caliper is gonna bother us, but let's get the caliper out of the way. 1 and 2. So we got both of the bolts in. Next step is obviously okay, let's leave that alone. We got the brake pads in, so make sure you get your brake pads in, and put a little bit of greasing on the outer edges on the brake pads. Very simple. Okay, use a C-clamp or dual piston clamp to compress your piston here, but we should be able to get this guy on easily. Okay, it might give us a hard time because it's already compressed to a point where it needs to be compressed. Okay, so I'm gonna get this baby on and then we'll come back. Okay, so we got this caliper in, and I do want to turn these little slider pins in one angle. And then we're gonna try to capture the two nuts, and we're gonna hand tighten these. Make sure you do it nice and tight. Come on, there you go. 13mm will do. Nice and tight. Okay, there it goes. Okay, this baby's done. Okay, you guys are gonna take off the 13. Come on, light. 13, 18, and 18 back here, two bolts, and it's magic. Okay, so let's take off our tool here. We do need to get this vacuum line back to its place. Bada bing, bada boom. You're gonna put the vacuum line where it belongs. Okay, we're gonna take the ABS sensor where it belongs. There you go. So this little guy is gonna come out, and we're gonna connect the connector back there. Make sure it clicks. So I'll get that in a moment. So make sure you get that connector in. Okay. So I'm gonna do that off the camera. So just stick it back in it, and it will go in. So the last thing I have left here is my tie rod here. There you go. And okay, I got it wrong, guys. This was from the bottom up. This was going this way. What was I thinking? Okay, come on. There you go. This baby's in. And you take your 21 and bang it in there, and you're all done. So make sure this is nice and tight. And to sum up everything, I am going to tighten that. So tighten this, tighten that, make sure the ABS sensor, everything is nice and plugged in. So this guy got to be plugged in right here a bit, and this needs to go right here. Oops, I'm gonna have to strap tie that. But anyways, thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, share, and like. Complete job here for you guys. So to complete this job, these are all the tools that I use that you're gonna need to use. So starting on with a ball joint, compress and contract out the ball joint. So we got this big C clamp here, some adapters with it. We got this pry bar, about 3 foot long, 1 foot long, another pry bar. We got that little hook right there, yellow, to hold the caliper up. WD-40 and a wire brush, they're gonna go together. We got this hammer. We got this half-inch drive swivel. We got some greasing, 18mm for the impact gun, fits here. We got a 24, we got a 22, we got a 30mm, we got a ratchet, 3/8 drive with the 13mm, we got another 3/8 drive ratchet with the 15mm, we got a 13mm gear wrench, 22, 15, and we got this adjustable wrench. It's like a almost like a 2 inches wide, well, but anything will do. We got this fork, we got the chisel, obviously we got the impact gun here with the 21mm socket. Anyways, that's everything that we use right here to do this job. So we did the control arm, we did the brakes, we did the ball joint, and what else did we do? Brakes, rotors, ball joint, yeah, 3 things, that's it. And there's the older one, so let's begin this job.